Hey, welcome guys to Teams Gone Wild. We're kicking off. What is this, like week 15? I don't know.
I don't know. We
We've
started, I think, in December, January. So here we are. Yeah.
had some really good folks on here, and keep in mind, guys, everything that we do on here, we post to YouTube, and so it's something that people can go refer back to, and we have assets and stuff that we can send you. But yeah, every week we're hopping on here and highlighting some amazing team leaders around the country that are doing some really cool stuff. The goal really is to unpack some big nuggets and hopefully mastermind a little bit around that. And then if there's anything that our guest is who is Rachael, that has anything that we can help her with, then hopefully we can be contributive to that. But I'm Jordan. I'm here in Denver, and Siri, she runs an amazing team down in San Diego. Today we have Rachael Novak with the Novak team. She's a powerhouse. She's a friend of mine. And I've learned a lot from her over the years, and just watching how she's built her business. You guys, her and her husband, Mike, have one of the, I think, one of the most sound, organized. I'm sure, Rachel, you might see the stuff that we don't see, but look outside looking in, you guys are disciplined, you guys are on point, and there is nothing that you guys do that's not intentional. And that's what I love about learning from you guys. So without any other thing, Siri, do you want to have anything to add to that?
Well, first of all, Rachel, I've gotten to know you over the last year, and it's just been really fun to collaborate and become like good girlfriends with you. And like I wanna also like kind of highlight what Jordan's saying, like getting to know you and seeing how you and Mike run your program. One of the conversations we had last week when I saw you was that you guys get together every week, and they go over their P&L, not just for their business, but for their family because they treat them both the same. And I was just like, wow, that's incredible. And so to watch these two, so if you don't know them, follow them, but to watch what these two are doing is just very high level organized. They're just a great power couple together. He's a big beefcake
Yep.
and also a big teddy bear.
He's my
So
security guard. That's what we always say. He's my security guard.
yes, he's your security guard. So anyways, I'm super excited to have you on, just pumped to have you on. So Rachel, I'll let you take it away and let us know what we're chatting about today. And give us, part of this too is we really want to understand your team dynamic. I think it's also important because we have people on here that want to build teams that haven't, or they have small teams, and they want to get bigger, or whatever it is. But give us also a journey of where you started and where you've been and how you got there. I also love to find out about your operational team because, like we were talking about earlier before we went live, that is to me the heartbeat of your company. And so give us all that and then let us know what you're going to be sharing with us today.
Yeah, and just to tee up one more thing, like I was texting with a guy last night. He went back and watched all the teams gone wild from the last 16, 17 weeks. And so if you guys haven't been to all those, they're all available, but they could also be resources for you to share to people that you're trying to help with team building, because every week Siri and I are just learning like tons of cool stuff from all the best. So I feel like
We win here too. Yeah, we're just
the
like
best seat in the
sponges,
house.
right?
So Rachel, yeah, I think it's important that we understand the dynamic of your business, not just like the cool superpower thing that you're doing. Maybe take us over a quick history lesson of how you got to here. I know you guys started around the same time I did. And so, yeah, let's hear it.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for inviting me on here. I'm really excited to share with everybody. I've also got my listing partner and right-hand gal, Melissa Lewis, on the call with me. You can wave your hand. Hi, Melissa. Hi there. Hey. So the way Mike and I got back into real estate. So long backstory, very short, but he was a developer, a builder, developer, and I was on the transaction and administrative side of real estate back in the early 2000s. So from 03 to 09, we kind of worked two different parts of the business. And we met in that world. It was a super fun world back in the day when Brokers Opens had like waiters with trays of champagne flutes. Like we are talking really fun times. Deals were being made Saturday nights at happy hour, shaking hands over stated income loans. I mean, it was a bit of a mess, but also super fun times. So fast forward a little bit, the crash happened. We got absolutely obliterated. We actually pivoted into a small backup business that we had been working, which is restaurants. And so we took a restaurant from 1 location and 3 employees to 7 locations and 425 employees over the course of 9 years. It was awful. We put our heart, our soul, everything we had into it. We learned a lot. We made a lot of mistakes. But the biggest thing that we learned through that 9 years, almost a full decade, was resilience and marketing. Because in the restaurant business, it is cutthroat. You have to know marketing. You have to be organized. You have to know your operations, and you have to be able to build a structure within your business to where there are certain levels of organization and responsibility and what we call AORs, areas of responsibility. So we learned those things the hard way, got our teeth kicked in multiple times over multiple years. Meanwhile, through this time, of course, we're growing a family. Mike and I have 3 beautiful kids, 14, 12, and 7. So it was a wild time. It was a super, super wild time. In 2016, Washington State, where we are, passed this crazy law where rose the minimum income or the minimum wage $4 an hour. And overnight, from December 2016 to January 2017, it went into effect January 1st. Our restaurant business was about $50,000 to $60,000 in the red every month. Now, we can't raise menu prices fast enough to accommodate for that. So 2 months prior, right after this election happened and that legislation was passed in Washington State, Mike, my husband, who has just an incredible instinct, goes, "Babe, this is bad. This is really bad for us." Because he's a numbers guy. So he started doing some of these numbers, and we're looking at our operation and we're looking at our 425 employees like, oh my gosh, let's do some quick math, guys. 425 times 4 more times however many hours a week they work. Okay, this number was very bad. So he goes, "Hey babe, I got an idea. Let's get our real estate licenses again and get back into real estate." And I told him that he was absolutely nuts. I told him that he was crazy. We had just got obliterated, 9 years prior. This is insane. Well, he talked me into it. Of course, he's a great salesman. So we did. We got our licenses again. And in 2017, we hit the ground running. He and I absolutely went balls to the walls. We knew marketing, so we turned on PPC and SEO leads for real estate. It was simply for us. We worked with the same person who did our internet searches. So we simply changed some keywords from the restaurant industry over into the real estate industry and started getting leads right into our CRM right away. We worked our asses off, you guys. I'm talking 4 hours of calling every single day. I picked my kids up from school 5 days a week and went straight into showings while my kids were watching Netflix in the back seat. We were relentless. Our backs were against the wall. We knew we were facing imminent bankruptcy because of our restaurant company if we did not do something about it. So that's what we did. We did something about it. In 2017, Mike and I closed 79 transactions between the two of us. And by the end of that year, we knew immediately that we were going to need, number 1, some support. So to start building an organization in the real estate space. And number 2, we needed some damn organization. We were flying by the seat of our pants, just closing people left and right. And I was doing all the transaction coordination. So we immediately split the business into 2 different sides. So he started taking over exclusively buyers and I started taking over exclusively listings. And that was the way for us to be able to organize the business, because as we know, as real estate professionals, when you're in the mentality of a buyer's agent, negotiating contracts, working with buyers, having those conversations, those are very, very different conversations than when you're asking somebody to give over their keys and a portion of their equity to you, right? They're 2 very different trains of thought. And so we realized that we could both be extremely effective if we split that up. So that's kind of how our organization is now organized, where Mike still does exclusively buyers and I do exclusively sellers. And we've been able over the last 6 years to really hone our craft and to really stay super organized and own those parts of the business. So I have worked relentlessly over the last 6 years to build up our listing organization and operations, as well as our standard operating procedures. And each year it changes, the market changes, each year it updates. And in 2019, about 2 years in, Mike and I adopted from Eric Hatch and the Hatch organization, the partner model. And I brought on my first partner. He brought on his first partner. And that truly was the huge pivotal change in each of our businesses. Because us as individual agents, guys, can only handle so much. We can only handle so many things. We can only handle so much client communication. We can only handle so many photo appointments and inspection appointments and all these things. Without a support person, without a right-hand person, it's impossible to serve clients at the highest level possible. So over the next 3 years, my first partner was with me, and she helped me really build out a lot of the operations of the business, which was phenomenal. And then about a year ago, Melissa actually had worked for Mike. She was one of his showing partners for a year and a half, and she actually pivoted and came over to the dark side and came over to the listing side about a year ago. So that's a little bit of backstory. I want to talk a lot more about the actual operations, the acquisition of clients, and then of course the cadence with which we run the partner model, as well as how we handle clients. But is there anything, Siri, that you,
No,
I'm kind of rambling there.
I know you can see my mind having some questions here. So my question for you is, you brought in a showing partner to help to leverage you all with kind of the client facing kind of side. What about the operations side? Like, did you bring someone in on that side as well? And what did that look like? Okay.
Good question. Yep. So in the end of 2017, we brought on a transaction coordinator. It took us about 2 years to, and we went through 3 different people before we found the right fit for the way that we run. So we do have a full-time transaction coordinator. I don't even call her that. That just doesn't justify what she does. We call her the contract queen, the contract coordinator. And she actually now has a full-time admin assistant just to help her on her side of things. So once we go under contract with the client, she basically takes over. She takes over client communications. She takes over the cadence, communicating with escrow and lenders and figuring out issues. We will still, as the agent, step into negotiations for inspection and appraisal items, and of course, checking in with our client, but she drives the transaction from the beginning of escrow all the way through closing.
So you leveraged yourself as far as you had the showing partner to leverage both you and Mike over on that side. And then you had a transaction coordinator who's also administrative, I'm sure doing other things too, like you said. So listing, like would she put listings in for you, like you name it, the admin side, it was kind of an all-in-one package, kind of a setup?
Yeah. So essentially the way that we can look at it, because we know in real estate, like you've got it's our job to acquire the client, and then we sign the client, and then we go through the pre-listing process, right? Where we're coaching, we're prepping the house, we're helping them through kind of the prep work and the actual getting the home ready to sell, whether it's, vendors and contractors and painting and all that kind of stuff. And then we actually go on the market, and then we go pending, right? And escrow. So we have all these different stages, and we break it down really clearly. So where my partner, her primary responsibility is the nurture of my pipeline from when I sign them and bring them on as a client to getting them on the market. And then I'm responsible for communication, getting them on the market. My listing partner, communicates with other agents, getting feedback. She communicates with any issues that are happening. She makes sure that, there are flyers and the website's updated and all these things. But I am the face still of the negotiations of the client with other agents. And then when it goes into escrow, that's when the transaction coordinator takes over. So we each have a very large area of responsibility in each stage of the client relationship. And that's what helps us to be as effective as possible. Because as real estate agents, we have to stay in our lane, right? Our job, the best job for us is the client conversion. That's the generation, that's the revenue generation of the relationship, right? So the care, the coordination, the vendor relationships, that can all be passed off to the partner.
Yeah. And I like to show, like I said, your journey. And to me, there's not a one size fits all. You'll ask someone, they'll say, oh, I'm going to hire admin first, or, hey, I'm going to start, giving my clients to others and kind of dumping that off and going over here into this land. So it sounds like showing partner and admin were kind of tandem-ish, right? Yes. Showing partner maybe first and then admin. And who was the person that built, like you have to go into the CRM and kind of get that stuff set up? And was that Mike? Because I think Mike.
Yeah. Yep.
That was Mike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike and I, the way that we organized our days for the first 2 years of our business, like throughout being relentless with client, conversion and getting clients and all this kind of stuff, we would spend a good chunk of our morning on the client conversion. So the calls, the, generating appointments, the nurtures. Then we would spend the middle of our day on the operations of the business. So creating scripts, writing action plans, organizing the database, like making sure that like all of our zaps are up to date from, Calendly links to the CRM to, tracking, like we use Sisu now, a CTE back then. So really connecting all of the tech consistently and making sure everything's cleaned up. We did that all ourselves. So it was a very intentional time that we spent a couple hours a day making sure we're building the businesses.
Yeah, because that's where I think it's important. Like you said, you still have to build the business and get leverage with other people so you can take that time away to do that. That's super important. So,
hey, Rach, why don't you dive into a little bit? You guys have had a massive team. You've had a small team. You've aimed back towards growing again. You've aimed back towards staying small again. Maybe share a little bit about your journey there and kind of, so I think every team leader, every agent, they need to build the business for them. Like what's the best business for you, right?
100%. Yeah,
and it's not about how big your team is,
Right.
unless that's something that you just love. And because bigger doesn't mean more profitable.
Exactly.
I think I could make just as much money with a 10th the size of the team. I just really like building into a lot of people's businesses.
yeah,
And so
right. I've had those conversations. For me, like the sweet spot profitability wise was like between 5 and 10 agents, to be honest.
Yep.
And yeah, so so everybody's different in what their needs are, but yeah, that is a big journey for you. So that'd be fun to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's a misconception in our industry that you have to build a team in order to be profitable, right? That in and of itself is the misconception. Melissa's been around for going on 3 years on our team. So she's been able to see kind of the ebb and flow of people that we've brought in. So we tried to build big. We got up to about 27 agents at one point. Mike got out of production completely to train and to mentor and to script and to role play and to do all of the things that we were told at the time that we have to do to be good team leaders. And that year, guys, that we had 27 agents, we made collectively $200,000, which may be a lot to some people. But when you're having 27 agents and you're taking all of this risk and all of this, time spent on other people to help them build their business, that was not a good return on the investment of our time. We were working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. That does not, it's
not to mention you probably invested, probably a couple $1 million out there in risk.
Yep. Well, let's see. Our GCI that year was 2.8 million in GCI, and we made less than what was that 10% on that? I mean, it was not pretty at all, not pretty. So we did that. We built up to a lot of agents. And then what we quickly realized was that we wanted success for a lot of these people way more than they wanted it. And that's where there became a misalignment of expectations for us when we're spending more time trying to get people motivated as opposed to spending time serving the clients who want to work with us anyways. So we built up really big. And then we looked around one day at one of our team meetings and Mike and I said, I'm not sure I like anybody except like 3 people in this room. I don't know. I think I like approximately 3 people in this room right now. So we put in some very strict and very tough parameters for them to meet to stay on the team. And we peeled down to 5 agents. So we peeled down to 5 agents, 1 transaction coordinator, and we each had a partner. And that's what we peeled down to.
Was that because you put those in place and they just organically started kind of dropping off because of the standards that you had there, right?
Yes.
Because it just,
Yep.
yes.
Yep, exactly. So, we didn't say it was just simply, you have to close 2 deals in the next 60 days. And 90% of them couldn't do that because whatever. So we tried that. We got really big. We came back down the following year. So that was 2019, in 2019 that we did that. In 2020, we had our most profitable year. We did the same exact amount of GCI and we made over $1 million net. So we immediately said, okay, so this is for us. This is what works for us. Because, like Jordan said, look, guys, real estate agents are in this for 2 reasons. Number 1, a lifestyle, and number 2, the money. And if you don't have either of those things because you're tied down by a team and you're tied down by a lack of profit, then it's okay to pivot, right? We're touted as these great team leaders, and really our team only has 12 people, but we're insanely profitable. Like, that's the point of this business.
Well, I think only 12 is actually 12 is great, right? It's not only 12. I think 12 is it's a lot to manage still, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I think sometimes, I'll talk to people and we talk about the team size and all that stuff that we have. But I had this conversation the other day that the truth is we still only have probably our top 12-ish people, on the team. And then we're meeting everybody else where they are. And it's okay, however you guys run it. But 12's a lot and it's great. Here's the thing, we could have you on next year, Jordan. We'll keep doing this, right? And we can have Rachael on next year, and guess what? It might be different then.
Yeah,
It most likely will be.
Well, and I
Right?
think
Just a month ago.
the thing that I love about Rachael, you and Mike, is you guys are unapologetically, you don't really care what people think. Like, you're doing what is best for you. And I think there's a lot of people in real estate that let the ego of whatever you're building get in the way of the actual goal that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you trying to achieve? Okay, then go after that with unabandoned, like, just everything you have. Like, there is nothing else that matters, because that's your goal. And there is not a certain right or wrong way to do it. Everyone's wired so differently, which means that you can build a different type of business to get to your goal. And maybe it's a massive team. Maybe it's a small team. Maybe you're a solo agent. Maybe you're a one agent with a partner, and you go sell a bunch of houses and you have fun and you have good balance. There is no right or wrong. The right is, what is your goal and what's the quickest path to it.
That's exactly right.
But you guys do a great job of, like, not getting in the scoreboard comparison thing. And it's like, your scoreboard is for you and your family. And that's beautiful.
Well, that's part of what Siri said earlier about how, Mike and I do weekly alignment. We call it weekly alignment meetings, right? Where every single week we talk about where are we at with our goals. I'm not one who really likes to have a set goal. I don't do well with saying I'm going to sell X many houses this year. It stresses me out. Whereas if I say, I'm just going to do the activities that I know produces results, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to continue to work, and I'm going to be present, and I'm going to push on, and boom, I typically will hit my numbers. And so he's somebody who needs the number. He likes to have something to strive for. He wants to be able to reach for something. He wants to know how on track he is. He does it every single week where he's like, okay, I'm about 35% of the way, on track. So, and I can't do that. Our brains work differently, and that's okay. But I think that, like what you said, Siri, when we're meeting every single week and we're looking at our P&L, we are consistently looking at our business and saying, are we having fun? Is this the quality of life that we want? Are we spending enough time with our kids while also meeting the needs of our clients and our teammates? Our teammates are our family. It's so important to Mike and I that they have stability, that they want to be there, that they're having fun, that they have quality of life. Melissa will tell you, I asked her on my way back from our trip, when is your next vacation? Where are you going next? When is it? I need you to take a long weekend soon. Tell me when it's booked. Like, these things are important. We don't build a life so that we can just work ourselves to the bone, and then when we're 50 or 60, retire on a beach. Like, let's live right now. Let's vacation right. Let's take that time right now.
That's right. Look at everybody just kind of perked up on that one. That's right. I want to pause, actually. I want to make sure, is there anything that you guys want to be asking Rachael or talking about, or any comments that you guys want to share? Because I know we kind of get going and we get talking. Is there anything, just kind of open it up real fast, that you all want to chime in on? Cassandra, good to see you on here, by the way. Hi. It's good to see some of these faces, especially some that I just saw recently in Houston.
Yeah, I figured after the last 3 weeks I probably should start getting on this, because I'm gonna probably need a team here shortly.
Yeah, let's do it. We're here to help you. Everybody here. Yeah. Anything that you guys got, or feel free to drop it in the chat and we'll grab it. So
yeah, somebody asked about leverage at home. Can we touch on it?
Yeah, jump into it.
That's a really good one. So that was actually the first piece of leverage that I built into my business in 2017. Because we have 3 kids and because they are very important to me, right? They are my most valuable asset of all the things that I own. That was the thing that I wanted to invest in very first. I knew that I could work myself ragged. I knew that I could work 12, 14, 15, 16-hour days if I needed to, but I needed to make sure that my kids at least had some sort of attention given to them in the times that they needed it. So I worked for 6 months. I had a savings goal for myself, like not just Mike, but for myself, that I needed to have in savings to not just have overhead built up, but also to have someone's salary built up. And so I knew that if I could save X amount of money and have 6 months worth of a salary for a nanny, that was going to bring me a significant amount of leverage and focus, because when I know that my kids are taken care of at home, I can be twice as productive at work. And so that's what I did. So I worked tirelessly to build up that savings. Back then I didn't have nails, I didn't have lashes, I didn't do anything, personally at all. Like I pinched every single penny I possibly could and hired a nanny full time. So they came before my kids went to school. I bring them in the morning. They come at 5:30 so I can go to the gym. They bring my kids to school. At that point, it was 5 days a week. And then they picked them up from school, got them ready, did dinner. And then for the 2 of those years, I actually did not see my kids 4 or 5 days a week at all. I left before they got up and I got home after they were put in bed. And that was a tough time, but that was something that I chose when they were very young to do so that I could build my business. Over the last 6 years, I have built into having a full-time personal assistant who works for both Mike and I. And she is fantastic. She comes in 3 days a week, brings my kids to school. She picks my kids up from school 3 days a week. And I actually get to pick my kids up from school 2 days a week, which is something that I've built into my schedule. It is very important to me a couple days a week to see my kids after school and spend that time with them. And I've just built that into my life. I've been able to do that because at the end of the day, clients want to work with you. And when you have built a business around family and values and things that are important to you, people recognize that. So I don't have any issues, like 99% of the time, asking a client to meet me on a Tuesday instead of a Monday, because Tuesday's the day that I take appointments in the afternoon and Monday's the day that I pick up my kids. So she now does my grocery shopping. She takes care of all of my home vendors, home maintenance items, as well as taking care of all my kids. She takes them to the dentist. She takes my dogs to the vet. She does everything that I need her to in my personal life so that I can be present and productive at work.
Solid. Matt, you had put something in the chat as well that I wanted just a little clarification. Do you want to maybe chime in on that question that you had in here?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Everybody calls me Nugget, just in case y'all are wondering.
What's up, Nugget?
What up,
Nugget? What up? So I'm relatively new. That's right. You're like, no. Yeah. So I'm relatively new to real estate, but I've been in business prior. I have a training business that's kind of running itself and some other things that are going on. But I got into real estate because of Greg Goad. He kind of taught me into coming over this way. We grew up together. So one of the things we're talking about, we kind of mentioned it to each other at the real estate video blueprint, was potentially him and I teaming up to do something like this, to form a team. And so this is kind of the very beginning of us having those discussions and kind of sussing everything out. One of the things I thought about was because as a new person, there's a lot of agents that they don't know if they want to be on a team or not. And so the commitment and versus developing their own brand. And so one of the things I told Greg is I was like, why don't we offer a year-long, almost like a join the team, but it's a year-long agreement, and we're basically coaching them through self-branding, promotion, farming, marketing, video work, editing, all the little things. Even though there's resources out there, it would kind of be on a micro scale where we could have masterminds and stuff like that. Now, some of those people may end up after that year staying. They may want to stay on a team, and that may give us an idea of whether we should have a team or not. And then some of them may, seniors graduate, right? They may go on and do something else, and so or just keep running their business. But then it kind of, because it's a very steep climb when you first start, right? And so the idea is to because you don't want to do everything for them, because part of being good at this business is learning how to get over those humps, right? You don't need to be handheld through the whole thing. And so trying to balance those two things out. It was just an idea that I'd had, and I kind of tossed it out there because I don't know if Greg and I, or either one of us, are convinced that we want to babysit. And so
So
we're
Nugget,
very
let me,
independent.
let me speak to this for a second, because as somebody who's both run a team and run the partner model, there are a couple of different pathways that we've created. And I'm going to bring Melissa into this one because as she's somebody who's been a partner on our team for several years. One pathway that people have as an option for us is, of course, to partner with us at Real. As a partner at Real, obviously, there's a vested interest that we have in their business to help them grow and help them thrive. Another pathway is for them to become a team agent with us, which, depending on the lead source, we do take, of course, a particular percentage of, but we're able to provide them that mentorship, that support. They're able to, what we call, fly amongst eagles, be with us in the office, rubbing shoulder to shoulder, doing these things. And then the other pathway, of course, is to come on as a partner. And we basically, the partner program, the partner, relationship is a paid mentorship program. We actually ask for a 2-year commitment as a partner, but it's a low salary. So it's enough that they can pay some basic bills and, not make sure that they're relatively fed. And then they earn their way into a percentage of the GCI supporting that, what we call elite agent. So we have four of our top 6 agents, and the 5th one is actually shopping for a partner right now. We all run the partner program. So we have an entire culture where we have elite agents and we have partners who support them. So on that note, Nugget, if you don't mind, Melissa, will you come on and kind of talk a little bit about the partner relationship and why you chose to come in? Because you were in real estate before, you're in property management. And so you could have come on as an agent, but you chose to come on as a partner. So you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So when I was looking in real estate, kind of whether if I wanted to be an agent or if I wanted to join a team, it was kind of just looking at my options. And I went with this route because I knew my dad was in real estate growing up. So I knew it was not an easy job to do. But boy, did I not realize all that goes into real estate. And I kind of I'm really thankful that I chose this route to be a partner. I'm almost 3 years in and I technically only need to do it for 2 years, but I'm still doing it because I feel like I'm just learning so much knowledge just by being a partner that I would not have been able to understand if I was just coming on into real estate as an agent. And I mean, I don't remember the percentage, but it's 80-90% of agents fail in the first 2 years. And I definitely know why. This partner role has allowed me to still have fun and do the things I want to do without stressing about when's that next commission coming. So having that salary has really helped me kind of focus on the better things and just kind of be a sponge. So, I mean, it can be kind of hard at times, but that's real estate. So I'm definitely learning a lot, just kind of balancing life and understanding what I'm going to need to do to when I become an agent, whenever that is, because I don't know yet, because I like this role. So
Okay, that was actually going to be my question. I didn't want to put you on the spot with your boss on the line. I was going to make her earmuffs.
No boss, we're partners. We're partners.
You're partners, right? But I was going to ask is the progression, is the idea to graduate from this? Is that because what I've noticed, because I try to pay really close attention to the successful people, and you see very high creatives that end up kind of stepping into successful roles in real estate, especially modern real estate, right? Where maybe it was a different version back in the day, and then you have these high kind of eyes that are process structure oriented, and they don't typically, they can, but it's a slower burn. And so I'm guessing you're kind of process structure oriented. And so you're learning the creative part of it as you and that was kind of my thought, is most people are structure, right? Not most people aren't that creative. And so that was kind of what I was thinking, is how can we get other personalities to be successful in this world without requiring that they are, Jesse Peters or whatever. Everybody throws out the same names, right? So I'll stop dominating the conversation now.
Yeah,
That's all right.
I think back to the go ahead. I think back to the idea of training agents and growing people. I typically say that it takes a third of the commission to manage the back end. Like any agent, I don't care who it is, like you're solo producer, you have a little team, a third of your commission is going to go towards like operational management, cost of running business minimum. The next third is acquisition of client. The final third is actually working the business. And so if you're running a team and you're providing leads, it's going to cost you probably 66% just to get all the back end. So if you're giving your agents more than 33%, you're helping them financially and you're decreasing your profit. And so if you're just doing training, 25%, 30%, somewhere in there is fine. If you're providing leads, you'll go broke. Or you'll just help a bunch of agents be successful for free. And I don't like that plan, because I like the plan where, I pay a coach $2,000 an hour to meet with them and get trained. People will pay me $1,200 an hour for training. And so my time is worth something. So if I'm going to help people do something, I have to make sure that I'm making money so that I can keep providing support. The other thing about roadmaps is I'm a big fan of creating teams with career path, like giving them an opportunity to grow into something. Because who wants to stay? I mean, some people might hit a ceiling and go, I'm good. This is all I ever wanted. I just wanted to make $120,000 a year, work 40 hours a week and let my phone ring. Great. That's not a bad life. Some people want to scale. So give them a plan to scale, even if that means scaling away from you, because who wants to hold people down? How's that a good life? If we can help people grow, then we've built something really good. So I like the career path.
Yeah, totally spot on, Jordan. Because, I believe that the traditional way to do real estate, and Eric Hatch talks about this a lot, of course, too, but the traditional way that people do real estate is setting people up to fail. You're bringing people in, telling them what you did to be successful and expecting them to duplicate it. Guys, Melissa is not like me. And that's the beauty of it. I need her personality in my life to be able
to talk as much as you.
Touche. But
that's
good. To be able to build runways for people, right? Like my first partner was my partner also for almost 3.5 years. She graduated this December. She has closed $5 million in real estate in 3.5 months already.
She's killing it.
She's an absolute savage, because she got an under the hood, behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz view for 3.5 years of exactly how to operate in real estate, exactly what it takes to operate. So she walked in with the mindset and she's slaying it. Like that in my
Jen.
I know,
right?
Exactly, Dana. Thank you. Yeah, Jen. Yeah, it's like, I love the fact that we were able to set her up for success. She still has to do the work. She still had to do, put in all the time, but to be able to see behind the curtain, know exactly what it takes, and then execute it at a high level, you're setting way more people up for success in their career than bringing them onto the team and then being like, well, good luck. Here's all these leads. Like, go convert them. So that's my opinion.
Well, I'll just say one more thing too, is because I told Greg, I said, I think the reason teams don't make it is because they're trying to make the team successful, or the managers of the team successful. I said, if we run this thing and we basically do it in such a way that our goal is to make them not need us anymore, like almost make it so that they have to leave. And if we sow that much value into them, the likelihood that some of them stay is way higher. And what does Richard Branson say, right? Like, teach people, train people so well they could leave and go do their own thing, but treat them so well that they stay.
I love that. And you've done that. You've done that really well. You have a couple, you have some big hitters on your team that you've really helped from the ground up, and they're doing big things. And you've chosen to go that route. And I love that. Just not to completely try to shift gears, but I want to make sure that we grab the most valuable. I mean, everything that you say, Rachel, is going to be valuable, but is there any one thing that you're like, hey, this is something that I've built. I'm really proud of it. I think it will help a lot of people, or maybe something you're working on.
Yeah. Well, this kind of took a little bit of a different direction than the high, volume and high value listings that we were kind of planning on. But I think I think that in and of itself, creating the runway for my partners to be successful listing agents is probably one of the most things that I'm proud of. We have a 16-page SOP, 16-page standard operating procedure that we've built and evolved and gotten so incredibly detailed on that we actually, because of the, the volume that we do, we've actually brought in and have our VA do some of those things now as well to free up Melissa to be able to be that client care facing. So creating a system where we have very specific AORs, I have my role in this partnership, Melissa has her role in this partnership, and then she manages the VA for their role in this partnership, has just created an incredible workflow to where, Melissa and I can easily close 45, 50, 55 listings at a very, very high level, execute them at a very high level. And we really only work like 30 hours a week. And so being able to build a life for people and for ourselves where we make enough money that we only have to work 30 hours a week and we enjoy our time and we enjoy our life. And it's not always convenient. There are still weekends that I'm, on the phone and over, on email and Saturday nights or whatever. Like it's never convenient, but, I'll trade that life and the processes that we've built for efficiency over just busting my ass for 90 hours a week and making the same amount of money. So I think that being efficient and having those processes that we've built is probably the thing that I'm most proud of for sure.
So speaking of, let's actually pull up a little bit of what you were going to show us. I still visually want to see some of these nuggets that you brought.
It's not super pretty, but it is what it is. Can you all see my SOP?
Yes.
Okay. So we literally go from, appointment set. We have exactly what it looks like. I also have a couple of supporting documents with this, of course, that outline exactly what I do and then what Melissa does when it comes to each of these. So this is just this is kind of the blueprint. And then I have supporting documentation, of course. So we have, of course, our appointment set SOP. We have the listing appointment SOP, all the way down to exactly what I need to pull, exactly what Melissa's role is in creating the CMA and creating the packet that I bring to the clients. Down to reminding yourself to know the names and the motivation and get there a minute before and drive around the neighborhood 10 minutes prior to this is all about being freaking prepared. Like people, I said this on a mastermind that we did yesterday, but guys, we're not paid for our time. We're paid for the value that we bring our clients. And so if you can create a process that is consistent and that is efficient, and you're able to always deliver because you have a proven process that we have built over the last 6 years, then you're going to consistently close deals and consistently acquire new clients because you have that proven process. So that's literally what this is. We created this roadmap that breaks down the process of listing your home into 4 phases. So we're able to visually show the clients exactly what to expect at each particular phase, and then what their responsibilities are, right? I don't make it butterflies and rainbows each time. The sellers have work to do. If they want top dollar, if they want a big number that they're hoping for, pie in the sky, they've got some work to put in. So we talk about that. I'm very real with my clients about their responsibility and their role in this relationship. So, I talk about there's some questions to remind ourselves. And then we have an entire, of course, pre-listing SOP from what to do in the CRM, what to tag it, exactly where the agency documents go, exactly where to email things and what the VA does. How nitty gritty do you want to get here? Because this gets pretty nitty gritty. We've created Google Forms. So as opposed to going and meeting with and spending 2 hours sitting with the client, filling out all of the listing paperwork, we send them, or actually the VA sends them the Google form. And then when the Google form comes back, the VA fills out all the listing paperwork for us. And Melissa just goes through and audits it, compares it to previous listings, compares it to the tax records, all that kind of stuff. So there's several different checks and balances that we've been able to incorporate in the SOP, as well as the email templates. So this is dummy proof. Right? When you have a team, you need to make sure things are happening the same way each time, the client's being cared for and the same cadence each time. So we have, email templates that they can copy and paste the link, boom, sent. It takes them, 3 or 4 minutes to send these kinds of things out. So it's very efficient. So we're able to do it at a high volume. More Of course, templates, we get down to the pre-listing process agent responsibilities, right? So we have the agent and we have the VA and we have the partner responsibilities all broken down. And we have it broken down by timeline. So 2 weeks before list date, we need to be doing all of these things. We need to be doing coordination of walkthroughs. We need to be doing coordination of photos and staging and all that stuff. Both Melissa and I are stagers. I'm also an interior design specialist. And that was one thing that I invested in early on as a listing agent as another value add. It costs about $500 online to take a staging course and learn the basics of it, but it has paid off 1,000-fold for us to be able to provide that as a huge value to our clients. There was one point where I was the stager and I did what's called a home editing walkthrough for every single agent on our team. I was just willing to put in the work. So I got a ton of reps in doing that. And then as I brought on partners, I've gotten them trained to do these things as well. So, I mean, I'm happy to share this, Siri. Like I said, I'm a totally open book, so I can totally share this entire document. And for the high C, I'm not a high C, but I appreciate organization and I appreciate having a roadmap for my people because I know that it sets them up for success. So that's the reason that I buckle down to get some of these things done. Melissa has been a huge help in this document, as well as making sure that it's evolving. So we go all the way through listing live day, under contract duties for the VA and the partner. And then of course we move into the active seller process. So we have cadences for communication for the clients every single week, cadences for how we communicate feedback. We set expectations with the client prior to for all of these things. And then of course, I also have templates for emails that we send out each week to our clients, you know, and I change details based on the client, based on the home, based on the feedback, of course, but we have templates for all of the things, all the cadences that we provide. So that's the quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty. We dropped it in the chat as well. So if you guys want to grab it over there, it's in the chat. It looks like we have a question in here. Do you charge for the staging? Or since you do it, is it included in your commission?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it depends on a couple of things. It depends on the price point. It depends on the lead source. So I'll pay more, I'll invest more in some listings based on a relationship. And then of course it depends on the client themselves and the home itself. So we don't charge more for just basic soft staging, we call it, which is where we use our stuff like, you know, blankets and pillows and small chairs, that kind of thing. We don't charge for that. But for large staging or for hard staging, we call, where we bring in furniture or have a stager bring in rental furniture, it just depends on the price point. In our market, we've got a pretty high average price point. We're pretty blessed in that way. And so, you know, typically we just build it into the cost of the listing, but we also, I don't know how deep we want to get into commissions, but we weight the commissions to the listing side. So it's about a 55-45. What a client is paying our brokerage, we keep about 55-60% and then give the co-broke 44-45%. So good question.
Nice.
One thing I want to highlight real quick with everybody, whether you're a team leader or a team member, Rachel and Mike are incredible implementers. And so everything that she's sharing, I mean, some of it or a lot of it could be completely unique to her and she built it, but everything that you could possibly need to build an amazing real estate business or to enhance your business as a team agent or wherever you are, it's available. There's classes, there's YouTube channels, there's podcasts. It really comes down to implementation and just choosing to do it and do the work and then having the tenacity. And if you're like most real estate agents and you don't have the tenacity gift, you just have the gift of personality, gift of gab, getting connected with people, whatever it is, then surround yourself with a tenacity person that can make things happen, because this business is all about implementation. Yes. It's about relationships and then making shit happen. Like that's it. And if you can do those two things, your business will grow. But I've watched, like, because Rachel and Mike and I, we've all shared the same business coach for the last few years. And Eric typically says, why can't you implement like Mike and Rachel? And I'm like, Eric, that's not my job. I have
You hire
people.
someone, Jordan, to do
But-
that.
But
Yeah.
he always, I mean, you guys are like his, some of his favorite coaching clients that he's ever had, because you guys start to get to work. And as a team leader, as a coach, as somebody, I love when I coach someone and then they go and do it. It makes me feel like I actually helped, versus like we talked about the same thing last week. What are we doing here? So I would say a lot of your guys' success has come back to the fact that you guys just actually sit down and go, all right, how do we make this happen immediately?
Well, and you nailed it, Jordan. Like I bring people into my organization and we keep people around. Melissa is a fantastic implementer. When I give Melissa something to do, I know it's going to get done. And we have a good rhythm where, we call it full circle communication in our world, where you go, if I ask you to do something, or I forward something to you, or I have an email sent out, I know you're going to do it, but all I need to do is respond back with done. That's it. Just done. And so, having that built into your relationships, having that built into your business, it really makes the difference between, the idea of things, and I have all this vision and I've written all these SOPs, but if you're not actually implementing it, then your clients aren't going to feel it. Your team's going to know for sure. And I am the first one to admit that I am not always the one who implements things. I bring people in, I bring the Melissas, I bring the Jins into my world who will get shit done for me, because I'm a great visionary. I have a lot of ideas, but having the right people around you is absolutely key. Melissa, would you have anything to say about that? Now's your chance.
I think that it was really good that we did those personality test stuff, because it really does show, because I'm kind of opposite of her. I do like more of, I make a list every morning and I like to cross that list off and know that I checked it off when I did it done. And I want to see that all of my things are checked off by the end of the day. And I think it's been really cool to kind of see when you're working with someone who's not quite the same things as you, it's kind of cool coming together, because you just bring different things to the table and it just works in a good way. So that's been kind of fun to implement, maybe where she's weak and she's not weak, but
no, I am for sure. Yeah.
So are you guys so I just put in the chat, because we learned this from Hatch, was the working genius. Were you looking for that too?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to mention that,
Yeah,
but
it's both the disc and the working genius. Yep.
Yeah, we do both. I actually really like the working genius, maybe even a little bit more, because I there is that word tenacity in there, and you do need to find that person. But we actually had all of our operational team do it, and so we found where everybody fit with stuff. So lo and behold, I'm tenacity here, but I don't have all the time to get everything done. So I need to find someone to be me. Yes.
Siri, what two things are you?
I'm galvanizing and tenacity.
So guys, this is a beautiful tool, especially if you're working with other people. You have a working genius, you have a working competency, and you have a working frustration. And so everyone has two of each. And so, for instance, mine is invention and galvanizing, which means I'm really good with ideas and I'm really good at getting people on board with ideas. I don't have tenacity, enablement. It's interesting. The people in my world that get things done have a lot of tenacity. It's just so, and when we're making decisions, we'll pull together our people with discernment and go, hey, I'm going to throw out a bunch of ideas with all the other inventors and wonders. And then we need you discerners to poke holes. And
I love our discernment people, but I also am let's just go.
We hate them because they question everything. They question
out of
every
my
idea
way.
I have.
Yes. Stop poking holes in my idea.
Yes, let's do it.
And so these are tools that really help teamwork. It's beautiful, because all of a sudden you go, all right, I'm going to shut up with my ideas. I need you guys to start poking holes and figuring out how we're going to build it. And I'm going to stop because I don't know how to build it.
And honestly, you guys, in this business, the more people that you can surround yourself with that are going to challenge your thinking and challenge your ideas, the more successful and solid your business is going to be. Okay, get out of your own way, drop your ego, understand that you are not the one with all of the answers. The people in your circles have great ideas and great implementation items, and they probably know things about things that you don't. So listen to them. And that I honestly have to say is one of the superpowers of Mike and I, is that we are able to surround ourselves with people and listen to their ideas and take them into consideration and weigh them completely objectively against our own. And that's really how we've been able to build the business that we have, because we know that we don't know it all. We are humble enough to understand that we don't know what we don't know about things.
So good. I love everything you just said. I think that's the beauty of teamwork. And so many people in real estate think that they have it all, like they can do everything. And man, figure out what you're good at and get out of the way on everything else. Like that is the key to scale. That is the key to growth. That is the key to enjoying your life. Like if you're doing things you hate all day, but you maybe even think you're the best at them, but you hate them, you're going to come home exhausted, frustrated, drained. But if you're doing the things you're really good at all day, like there is no drain. Like, in fact, you're energized. You come home and you see your kids and you're like happy to see them, versus feeling like, I hate my life. Please don't talk to me. I just dealt with a bunch of stuff that I'm not good at. Yeah. And so find your lane and surround yourself with people that are running the same direction and different lanes.
Yeah, love it. Well,
all right, Rachael, it's been awesome to have you on here. I am also going to just like self-promote a little nugget in the chat that Rachael and I, along with Katie Day and Lana Rodriguez, yes, right. Yep. So ladies, please come out to Denver in June. And I just put the link in the chat because Rachael, Lana, Katie, and I have been working really hard, and we're going to be getting all the women together. We're going to be having some fun learning together. It's not all about just real estate. We're going to be having some motivational mindset stuff like that too. Rachel, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add, but we've been working hard on that.
Hey, real quick, Rachel, is it true? I heard a rumor. Are you going to start coaching?
That
you're putting her on the spot right now.
Yeah. Mel's like, she's my coach. No, she's my coach. What do you mean? So it is definitely something we are weighing. The scales are tipping toward continuing masterminds and webinars at this moment, but we're going to reevaluate in the fall. I'm a big believer in, if I'm going to commit to something, I'm going to give it my whole ass. I don't do anything half-ass. So it's really important for me that it's the right time and it's the right.
Well, yeah, and there's not a right or wrong. Your answer is perfect. But if you were, I was just going to pub you in that way. But if you're not,
eventually, yes. But honestly, like the next best thing, ladies, especially, is to get out to Ascend. We're going to have day one is masterminding. So it's like kind of open mic. There's going to be a lot of sharing, the whole structure of the day is to break down people's weaknesses and strengths and highlight both and help, walk through both. And then the second day is more presentation classroom style with some incredibly amazing women that we are bringing out there. So yeah, that's what I have to say. And happy.
I'm so stoked for it, you guys. That's awesome.
Yay. And it's in Denver, Dana. Yay.
I know. So excited.
Awesome.
All right. It's been fun. I'm super excited to have you on, Rachel. I'll see you on our text chats, I'm sure, throughout the day.
Yes, ma'am.
See you guys. Thank you, everyone.
See y'all. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate the time.
All right.